Good afternoon. I am Andrea Chisholm with the Midday News. Special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. The Halfway Tree police are probing an incident in which a detainee reportedly committed suicide in the holding area yesterday evening. She has been identified as Desireen Morris. Head of the St. Andrew Central Police, Superintendent Jacqueline Green, told TVJ News that Ms. Morris was taken into custody yesterday on a bench warrant. When the police went to her cell to take her into court, she was seen hanging with a blouse around her neck. She was rushed to hospital where she was pronounced dead. The Independent Commission of Investigations is also probing the incident. Operations at the Spanish Town Examination Depot in St. Catherine have been suspended for the remainder of the day. This follows the murder of a motor vehicle examiner last night. He has been identified as 51-year-old Lorenzo Esco of Lydia Drive, Havendale, St. Andrew. Reports are that about 10 o'clock, Mr. Esco was washing his car outside his house when he was attacked by 3 men. He was shot several times. The police were called and he was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Director of the Island Traffic Authority, Ludlow Powell, spoke with TVJ News.
We're at a loss for words right now, and we're in a state of shock. So there's a state of gloom. We're a close-knit family, and we get along with everybody. And when one member is lost, especially in such a tragic way, it affects us all.
In the meantime, Transport Minister Mike Henry has condemned the brutal slaying of Mr. Esco. Thieves struck again at Holland Primary in St. Elizabeth, stealing several items which have left teachers and students in a precarious position. TVJ's Jeline Pearson has details.
It can't continue like this. Can't continue like this. Can't continue. The police and ops security have to do something. They have to show us today who break the school, because we cannot be paying for security. Camera system, and we don't know, and we can't know what break the school. We need to know today, and we are saying to ops, find out who break the school today. We're going to dig them out and hand them over to the police.
That's the cry from Paul Vassell, a board member of Holland Primary in St. Elizabeth. Between 2017 and 2018, thieves have stolen from the school on 4 occasions. Mr. Vassell said they installed 16 CCTV cameras and alarms so they could watch the criminals at work. However, the thieves disconnected the alarms and stole the cameras.
When we came, my office was entered. The cameras that point to the corridor where my office is, they were turned away. The monitor inside my office, a 24-inch monitor, is missing, and other cameras that would point to the corridor where the office is, they have been turned away, and the wire is cut, and disconnection has taken place.
School principal Simone Doctor said they also broke into the canteen and stole food items for lunch on Friday. 50 pounds of chicken, 100 pounds of rice and 2 cases of mackerel. Miss Doctor says she's at her wit's end.
I haven't even spoken with the children yet, and right now I am traumatized. I don't know what to do next, because I think we have done so much and the breaking has continued. So the police is here, and the security company that assists the school is here. So we'll see what will take place.
Jeline Pearson, TVJ News.
Portland recorded its second murder for 2018 on Thursday night after the stabbing of 20-year-old Caron Dixon in Port Antonio. Adrian Ming, a certified first aid personnel, recalled what he saw.
I can recall I've seen the school boys beat him with like sticks, stone, magnum buckle, stool, and them kind of stuff there. But him crawl around to the Jota tour bus area where, you know, I go and look like everybody else observe what really happened. And I notice him a bleed in the center of the chest, and him face burst up and stuff like that. So I say it's kind of critical. So but just go give him some assistance because I'm professionally trained and that I train for. So I say, I try the very best way I could do for assisting. But
Dixon succumbed to his injuries at hospital. The police are appealing to anyone with information to tell them what they know about the incident. And TVJ News will continue its rollout of the RGR Gleaner Group Don Anderson polls. This evening, we will be releasing findings of responses to questions about the state of emergency. Among the questions asked were whether the state of emergency in St. James was done at the right time. Do you believe the state of emergency will result in a reduction of crime and violence this year? And do you believe the police force is effectively leading the fight against crime? That's the RGR Gleaner Don Anderson poll on the state of emergency being released this evening in Primetime News. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck says government is making progress in clearing outstanding debts for judgments. $915 million has been set aside for the payments. He gave the update at this week's sitting of the Standing Finance Committee of Parliament, which examined the 2018-2019 budget.
So up to November last year, we paid up 99% of the principal sums, and we are likely to be able to pay up all of the outstanding judgment debts that become available before the end of March.
Meanwhile, Mr. Chuck reiterated that the restorative justice process will help to clear the backlog of court cases. That means guilty persons would have to accept they did wrong.
And they get 15 or 20 years, we have to stop saying, no, they should be there for 50 years. Because at the end of the day, in accepting their wrongdoing and starting a process of rehabilitation, restorative justice, we can accept a lesser sentence, whereas if they really fight the system, then they might get the 30 or 40 years.
Questions are being raised about communication between government ministries after millions of dollars were apparently paid from one ministry to the finance ministry without the finance minister being aware of the revenue. The issue was raised at the Standing Finance Committee of Parliament. Opposition spokesman on mining Philip Paulwell questioned Portfolio Minister Mike Henry about some $10 million in revenues from an agreement between the government and Noranda Bauxite.
As of December 2017, the profit share arrangement with Noranda New Day data amounted to $10 million. On average, this amounted to the $3.10 per ton, and you had given them a relief on that.
So how much of that the government of Jamaica is getting?
All of that is what they're supposed to get.
The government of Jamaica
but that goes through finance.
No, the government of Jamaica is getting $10 million out of this profit sharing arrangement?
$10 million on average. So if it's over 2 years, it would be $20 million.
Mr. Chairman, I will await to be appropriately advised by the appropriate
No, but it's not a joke.
But Mr. Paulwell said the issue was no joking matter as the government was seeking to earn from the profit share agreement with the company.
Minister, this is a most important issue. Some years we were projecting revenues from the industry of some $13 billion. Now we're not going to get those. You told us that by way of this profit sharing agreement, we are going to realize significant profits. I just want to know for the year 2017, how much money the government of Jamaica is getting out of this.
I will get that revenue income as it comes through finance and provide it with you appropriately.
There's been another call for gender balance at the tertiary level in Jamaica. Social anthropologist Dr. Herbert Gale made the latest call at an awards ceremony at Bogwalk High in St. Catherine, where he noted that in the 1960s, males outnumbered females at tertiary institutions.
If you have a shift from oppressing girls to oppressing boys, it really doesn't work. It was wrong when the society was structured to keep girls out of school. It is still wrong when the society has swung the opposite direction to really have boys finishing secondary school but not moving on to university.
Dr. Gale stressed the need for both genders to have equal opportunities to excel.
I am not a believer in any form of affirmative action. I believe you should provide the human species with the opportunities, treat them equally based on their skills and assets, and allow them to develop their agencies so they can do well whether they are males or females.
The government is moving ahead with plans to build a children's hospital in Western Jamaica. TVJ's Shamela Mitchell has details.
A significant gift from the Chinese government that bear fruit during the tenure of the outgoing Chinese ambassador include plans to establish a children's hospital in Western Jamaica. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says those plans are in full swing. Already, Dr. Tufton says he's hoping that ground will be broken for the 220-bed facility this year.
It's going to take a few years to completion, but that achievement is significantly influenced, or has been influenced significantly by your efforts, you and your team, of course. We have had a lot of starts and stops. We have even had some disagreements. A team from China came down and spent 3 weeks. I sent a team to China, which involved a clinical team, architectural experts, just to move the process forward.
Justice Minister Delroy Chuck commended the outgoing ambassador for the tremendous role he has played in improving bilateral relations between the two countries. Transport and Works Minister Mike Henry says China has also contributed significantly to road and works in Jamaica, with several roads built and some still under construction.
In that context, at that time, the Palisades Road was shrinking, sinking. If you made too of a deep sea dive in Kingston, the water would flow across the Palisades Strip. Without that $64 million loan, you will not see the entrance to the country that we see here today, which is implementation, and thanks to the investment and the facilities that came through China.
Meanwhile, the outgoing Chinese ambassador says the policy of his government is to help Jamaica move in a positive direction.
Any Chinese company in this country is here to serve the interests of both countries, not only the interests of their company, not only for profit, they must also be here for the advancement of Jamaica economy.
Diplomatic relations between China and Jamaica were established in 1972. Shamela Mitchell, TVJ News.
And it's time now for our Fact or Fiction feature. We ask, is this fact or fiction? The Bustamante Hospital for Children was formerly the British Military Hospital. And of course, you can find out the answer at the end of the sports segment of the newscast. In news overseas, in unexpected move, U.S. President Donald Trump announced new tariffs on imported aluminum and steel. The announcement sent shockwaves through Washington and Wall Street. Details from the CNN.
We're going to build our steel industry back, and we're going to build our aluminum industry back.
President Trump unveiling a controversial new trade policy today, tariffs on imported aluminum and steel.
It'll be 25% for steel. It'll be 10% for aluminum.
The announcement was light on details, but the president says he believes new tariffs will shore up struggling industries and level the playing field.
What's been allowed to go on for decades is disgraceful.
But fears of retaliation by foreign countries are now raising the specter of trade wars.
I'm not going to call it a trade war, but wars usually start with one battle. And this is a big one.
There was sharp backlash from several members of the president's own party who believe protectionist policies put the economy and national security at risk. In a strongly worded statement, Republican Senator Ben Sasse said, "Let's be clear, the president is proposing a massive tax increase on American families. Protectionism is weak, not strong. You'd expect a policy this bad from a leftist administration, not a supposedly Republican one." The move also sent the Dow spiraling, closing down 420 points, with the Nasdaq and S&P 500 dropping over 1% each. There are concerns over the pricing of consumer goods from Wall Street to Main Street, as tariffs on these imported metals could mean higher prices for everything from canned goods to baseball bats to cars, airplanes, appliances, and more.
And in sports, Tivoli Gardens increased their points tally after prevailing 3-2 against rivals and defending champions Arnott Gardens in their rescheduled game in the Red Stripe Premier League on Thursday at the Edward Siaga Complex. Kalfani Richards netted in the second minute of time added on to secure the win for Tivoli Gardens.
I see this goal coming because I know that tomorrow is my birthday and I'm playing football over there, so every time when it comes close to my birthday, I always have the confidence to go out on the field to score a goal for my birthday.
The victory moved Tivoli up to 46 points while they remain in third position.
What I've admired about our performance this afternoon is that we have shown guts, we have shown character, and that is a plus going forward. We have brought in Calvin Richards, and he came on and he played his part, It was an overall tough victory, a victory that we will live a long time to remember.
In other games, Waterhouse clipped league leaders Portmore United 1-0 at Prison Oval to move into top 6. This result moves the Drewsland-based side to 5th in the table and sit on 41 points, which is 2 places behind 4th place Cavalier. Cardell Benbow in minute 66 had the lone goal of the contest.
I kept on saying that 15 days when we didn't play did us really injustice. But it's something that we have to cope with. We have to look back at how to plan to deal with these things. But today was an exceptional day for us.
Yeah, it was an evenly contested game right throughout. High tempo, high quality, but you have to concentrate for long periods at this level. And we made one mistake and it cost us.
Finally this afternoon, the answer to our fact or fiction feature, and we asked, is this fact or fiction? The Bustamante Hospital for Children was formerly the British Military Hospital, and it's a fact. The Bustamante Hospital for Children was established in November 1963 as the nation's specialist pediatric hospital. Before that, it was a pediatric ward at the Kingston Public Hospital and was also a British military hospital. It was then handed over to the Jamaican government as a goodwill gesture on the achievement of independence on November 6, 1962. The Bustamante Hospital for Children is the only specialist children's hospital in the English-speaking Caribbean and caters to patients from birth to 12 years. And that's the Midday News. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Do remember to join us at 7 for the Primetime News Package. On behalf of the entire news, sports and production teams, good afternoon and have a great weekend.